Hello, and welcome back for another yet great episode of You Are the Masterpiece, where we keep discovering and learning that you do not have to be perfect because you can be work in progress as well as the masterpiece at the same time. And if this is the first time you are tuning in, hello, my name is Irina Portnova, and I'm Manifestation Star because I help people to manifest consciously and to create everything what you desire starting from your mind. Everything starts from our mind, and that's exactly what I help people to do with joy, with fun, and love to do that and continue exploring that field. And I'm here today with the dear guest Jocelyn. Jocelyn, it's great to have you with us. Just say a couple of words about yourself and what you're doing in this beautiful world.
Okay. I'm Jocelyn Parkhurst. You may also find me online as Jocelyn Torres. That was my academic name. I am a former political science professor at college. I've done course design and program design at colleges and for businesses and for people, for almost 30 years. And I was a lay spiritual leader in a Buddhist organization for 35 plus years. And I was working on trying to be a business person all on my own, an entrepreneur, and that decided I didn't want to do it. So now I just write and create things and put it out there for people just to access in whichever way they can. And I'm retired now, and so I just get to be myself.
Whew, I love it, short and sweet. And I just love to have you today because your topic is really beautiful. Neurodiverse creator in judgmental world. And I'm just truly looking forward. Let's just dive into the topic and talk more about it because for a lot of people, this is something new. Even for me, like I would love to learn more about that. So Jocelyn, let's just, spill the beans.
Okay. So do you want me to just kind of talk about that then? What that means?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I call myself neurodiverse. Of course, there's that term out there, neurodivergent. The reason I call myself, and I don't like neurodivergent because it seems to say, okay, here's here, and then there's only two possibilities. You're either
Mhm.
normal or you're divergent. It's just another way of saying you're not like us. And then, so I like neurodivergent because I can be in the normal world. I've proved that. I was a very successful political science professor and did a lot of stuff in that way. So I bought into and I did that, but I also did it my way. And so oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. But so being neurodiverse, why do I call myself that? I just don't think like other people do. When I was little, one thing, I was maybe 3-4 years old at the time, and my grandfather was in the hospital, my grandpa, and we went in to visit him. My parents hadn't said anything around the kids or done anything. My mom said this over and over again, and when she told me the story later, she didn't say anything. And I walked right up to my parents and looked at him. I said, "Grandpa's going to die, isn't he?" And my parents just kind of freaked out about that. They just and of course their fear made me fearful. And so that began this process of being afraid of speaking who I was.
Mm.
Always had this ability to kind of connect. I'll say things that are on somebody else's mind. I'm an empath. And so I feel deeply about things. And sometimes that feeling deeply about things is misunderstood by other people.
Mhm.
When I was a professor in college at a small college, we would get into discussions. I mean, in academia, you have to talk about everything. Everybody has to talk about it for about 2 years before you ever do anything. And for me, it is extremely frustrating process. I'm the kind of person that's like, if we make a decision, okay, let's go do it.
Mhm.
And so when I would get into these discussions, I get intense face, right? And so they're always like, why are you arguing? Why are you arguing? I'm like, I'm not arguing.
You're just passionate about it, huh?
So often I found myself misunderstood. The way that I thought, the just by having bits of information, and then I go with it, and I come off with a completely different direction of thought process from that point. And they're,
Mhm.
or trying to, when I tried to do real estate, or I did do real estate for a while, and trying to be part of that kind of a group I found very difficult. I found it very informative at the same time. But, like I would at times, and this happened over and over in my life, I would come in to try and be part of a conversation, and they would look at me like, why the hell are you trying to talk to us? And of course, that's something I had throughout my whole life. As a kid, I was one of the kids that people picked on, because me and another girl would, instead of playing with all the kids, we would run around pretending we were horses.
Mm-hmm.
We would just get teased all the time because we were different. And so even this has always been this tug and pull in my life. In how do I live in this normal world, but still be me at the same time? And it can get, it is a tug and pull that it can be very difficult to navigate. Happen to have my parents, while not always understanding me, were always very supportive of me. Now, being parents at the time when they wanted me to go in certain kinds of directions, like parents do.
Right.
So I had to learn how to let go of some of that. But even then, they've still been very supportive of me, and were. And so now it's like looking at all of this and then trying to be a creative then, right? Taking this and then trying to put it into, can I be, first it was, be a coach. Then I realized maybe that's not quite that. Maybe it's more like just being able to have conversations with people and seeing where those conversations go. And that's not, or maybe it's just, I can create these videos and these courses and people will go to do that. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get it to connect, because I would do the things that people said. I did the Facebook groups, I did the challenges, I did the workshops, I did the videos. I've got 5 courses out there that are amazingly done, because that's what I do. Courses. So they're fantastic, free on my library. And it's like nothing, crickets, just crickets. And so I had to navigate that then. And I will tell you, and we talked about this, that when I hit 60, it was sort of this real revelation of freedom to me, because I felt like every time I looked at an older person, especially older people who felt more free to be themselves, I was like, I can't wait till I get to be an old person and can say whatever the fuck I want. And so then I'm like 60, I'm like, I'm there, man. I can just I don't have to worry about any of that shit. And then this year, I've just kept stepping into it. And I'm 62 now. So I got my first Social Security check, and I'm like, this is true freedom, right? I have no bills now because I live with my daughter. It's beautiful. I just decided I'm not buying into the world the way it is. I don't believe in the monetary system. I believe all of our political systems are completely broken. I'm an anarchist in that way. And I'm also an anarchist in the mind frame of our structures. I'm all into destroying the frameworks and the systems and the beliefs that we've got in our head, not to fill it with something else, but to let the person have a choice. Is that what you believe or not? And if you believe that and you go back to it, great. But let's investigate the background of that belief first, because all of our beliefs that we have about the world that we're in came from somebody else, most likely hundreds and thousands of years ago. So I'm like, let's redo this shit. So that's, and then always being slightly abrasive. I know that I come off slightly abrasive because I think there's always this little bit of fear that's there. They're not going to like me. And so being able to let loose of that little bit of fear that had been coming up, and it still does, right? You still got that little tiny, it still always wants to pop up. But being able to know and see my emotions for what they are now, having that emotional intelligence, allows me to be able to better see myself and give myself grace for being this weird, crazy me who I hated for a long period of my time, of my life. Because I wasn't like all the other nice, pretty women out there. You say something that makes something come up in me, my mouth opens. I do not have a lot of bullshit filters. So it is to people bullshit me, I just give them bullshit right back. Not knowingly. I don't say, oh, I'm going to do this and do. It's like whatever comes to me says. So we often are misunderstood for who we are. And so I give myself a huge amount of grace, in which in all of this learning means I have better understand other people, because whether you're a normal or you're neurodiverse, or because a lot more normal people really are neurodiverse, I think we just don't want to admit it in our lives. Um, but I give everybody grace now, because I know we're all just working through our journey. We're all just like any emotions that come up. If that person, it's not really me. Yeah, I may have said something or done something, but it sparked something that was already in that person. That's what karma is. It's the beliefs and emotions that are inherent inside of us, latent inside of us. And then when something comes and sparks it, then that's, it comes through their energy, their emotion. I know that they're just working through whatever that spark was. And
Mm-hmm.
I get to have the honor of interacting with this person. And in that interaction, I actually get to learn a lot more about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that's
love Yes, I love everything what you're sharing. And what comes to me is like, creativity, right? It's all about just, like when we talk about being different, it's just not just follow our logical mind, but more connected to that side of ourselves, to that spiritual side, that creative side, that side that wants the freedom, that wants the expression. And this is actually the good thing, because the creative people are the people who really making this world go round, right, with all the innovations and all the different things in the world. And I remember, Jocelyn, when we were talking a couple of years ago, you had like a huge toolbox. You were like, okay, I've got the tool, right? So I would love you to share some tools for people who are also feeling that they are neurodiverse creators. How do they actually embrace this world? And I know you have some tools for them.
yeah. So my go-to, one of the things that I always had was the mind talk and the spiral talking and that kind of stuff, right? Where you start on a like the whole snowballing negativity. And when I went to a counselor at that time, one of the times in the past, she would say, "Well, just snowball good things." I'm like, "Well, how the fuck do you do that?" You know,
Mm-hmm.
say how to do it. She just said, "Well, snowball good things." And so I had to create a tool for myself. So what I did is I did Tony Robbins. I love Tony Robbins. Pattern interrupt. Give yourself a pattern interrupt. So I have a toolbox of pattern interrupt. So as soon as I catch myself,
Mm-hmm.
the mind talk or the fear talk or whatever it is, having a whole conversation about what you're going to say to this person, and when you next see them, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like first, as soon as you realize you're mind talking in any way, and usually it's a way that's being judgmental about yourself or somebody else. I do a pattern interrupt. Might hit my head. I might go, snap out of it, snap out of it, snap out of it. Something funny, right? Or you could do your superhero pose or something
Mm-hmm.
that makes your body realize you paid attention to something that was happening, and now we're going to stop it. So you're
Mm-hmm.
going to stop it. And then you have to have another tool in place that's going to fill that void, right? You've stopped. Now you want to go do something else before you start doing that thing again. So then you want to have a set of things that you're going to go to um, uh, as soon as you've done that pattern interrupt. So I sometimes will write down things like at the beginning, I would write things down that I would go to because I may not be able to think of it in the moment. So I'll open up my journal and there will be saying things like, go sit outside, go do meditation, whatever meditation or thing you might like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Go for a bike ride, go do exercise, go do, whatever it is that makes you feel good, and that's unique to every single person. So whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is that makes you feel good, you make a little list of those things and you go do those things. You do that instead. And so you start to teach your body to stop and to pay attention first, and then to stop, and then to do something different. And then after a while, you start to do it less and less and less, and you catch yourself earlier and earlier and earlier. I still do mind talk. I still do spiral talking, but I catch myself, and then I can go and do something else. And especially when you're doing manifestation, you can take that energy from that spiraling mind talk,
Mm-hmm.
stop it, and say, okay, what is it that I would love? How would I love to feel? And then you go down that journey instead, and you've just switched the whole thing around.
This is so crucial. I love it. And it's always good to have the tools, right? So we can support ourselves better. And it's great to have that awareness. Um, Jocelyn, say more about how people actually can navigate the life easier. And really, like, do you have the community for the like minded people?
That is probably the hardest thing to find, is a group of like-minded people. Not that we wouldn't like to get together and do that, but we're not groupers.
Mm-hmm.
We're lone, at least from my perspective. We tend to
Mm-hmm.
be loners, and we do hold people, a certain group of people, but not too many. Too many people is too many. Like, I have
Mm-hmm.
very few friends that I would say are friends who know me, right? Who I can just call up anytime and do. I got probably one or two. My closest friend is my daughter, and my daughter will tell you that I'm her closest friend, because
Mm-hmm.
she is also neurodiverse, and so we understand each other and we can talk to each other. My rest of my family, my kids, they don't always understand me, but they love me, and so they
Mm-hmm.
will support me because they love me, even though they don't understand me. And that is huge, right? You don't have to understand somebody to love them. You don't even have to like them, right? That's one of my phrases. But it for navigating life. Um, the thing is to just I found, for me, I had to hold on to who I was, and I don't know if I did it conscious. It was conscious to a certain point, but I think it's just the way I moved. I chose a path where I could have a certain amount of freedom of what my day was going to look like. So, being
Mm-hmm.
at first, I didn't finish high school. I went back and got my GED, when I got my GED at that time. And then I danced. I went to other countries. I did traveling and did stuff. Not a whole lot, but just that sounds more glamorous than it was. It wasn't. And then I after that, I decided, I got married, and I decided, we moved up here, and I wanted to do something other than this. Like, I was doing these low level jobs that had no future, kind of thing. And so I decided to go back to school. And then I decided to become a professor. So all through this, going back to school, I created a schedule that allowed me to have breaks. I created a schedule that allowed me to be home when my kids are home. To me, that was the number one important thing for my life, is that I was going to be at home when my kids got home from school. That was just something, determination I made early on. And so I created a schedule that, for the most part, that is what happened. Is I made sure that my classes that I taught were at a time where I could get back home to be with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, along with all the other stuff, but I will tell you that I was never accepted at the places that I was at, because I was neurodiverse at this small college. They didn't understand me. And even though I oversaw the AP high school high school AP courses, at 3 different schools in the district, and went there once a month to go, or once a quarter, to go and check it all out and make sure it was all good, and constant contact and doing all this other stuff. I was on the news for the elections. I did different. I put on things on campus. Well, they came back and said that I was also teaching online for University of Phoenix at the time, because I wanted to learn what this online teaching was. And so they put behind my back. Nobody came to me to talk to me first, say, hey, you want to work on these things in my tenure folder. And so that means I've been there 4 years. I'm going to see if I can get a tenure professorship. They didn't come and talk to me. None of them. They just put this nasty letter in my folder saying that I did all these. I wasn't good enough. Well, the tenure committee said, no, that's not true. But they also said I wasn't mentored, because I didn't show how I was a reflective teacher, or showing reflective learning, which, if you just look at the development of my syllabus, it's obvious. But I didn't have a letter, a statement saying this, and that is strictly from my mentor. My mentor should have looked at my folder, which I gave him to look at, and he should have looked at it, and he should have said, hey, you need this in here. And he didn't. So they denied me tenureship, but I was already leaving. As soon as that letter got in my folder, you don't stay where you're not wanted. You just
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Absolutely.
And academia is one of the most political and petty places you can work. It is abusive. Our academic university system is an abusive system, and it needs to change. And so it's very hard to fit into these male dominated hierarchical structures that you don't believe in. And so when you are being honest in who you are, people just they don't want to accept you. So you have to carve out your own world. You have to carve out who you're going to be and what you're going to put up with and what you're not. So I left that and I became an online teacher. Ended up teaching at Kaplan University, and I became one of the core people that came up with their rubrics when they were there. I ended up leaving them because they became very corporate. And then I also worked at, like I said, University of Phoenix, Southern New Hampshire University online. I was one of their team leads for a while. And so I just, when I can do that, I can do my work, and then I can do it when I want to, when I need to, and then I can go and take time to be myself, go outside, do meditation, whatever it is I need to redo who I am, and then or to not redo who I am, to sort of to fill me back up with the energy that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can go back to do. And one of the things I also do as a neurodiverse person is I like in the description, I can't sit and do something for a long period of time, if it's not something that I absolutely love to do. Like I can get engrossed in certain things and just be all of a sudden come back and be like, whoa, 6 hours went by and I'm super hungry. All of us can do that. But typically in day to day when I'm doing creative stuff, I believe the just 5 minutes. I've been a micro doer my whole life, and I never really realized it until I started like looking at it. And I will have 3 things set up. I'll have first things, usually playing a video game. That gets me not thinking about the stuff so that it actually starts coming to me, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
my video games, World of Warcraft, I've been playing it for 20 years. That's one of my communities, right? That's where
Mm-hmm.
I find neurodiverse people who are willing to accept me for who I am, who I can say something stupid and they're not going to just say, right? Some people might, there's norms that play World of Warcraft too, but gamers, we're not usually your normal, typical people. A lot of gamers, and so I'll play video games, and then I will do something that is my focus, the creative thing, and then I will do something that is, more structural, like cleaning. I'll have cleaning stuff set up, or maybe a workout thing set up, or something else where I go through these different things and I go around and I come back because it satisfies my neurodiverse mind of being able to do different things kind of all at the same time, but not really. And so I live by especially that just 5 minutes. Like I can go and you can almost do anything for just 5 minutes. And so those are the kinds of things that I do that have allowed me to live in the world. I had to create it for myself every step of the way. I had to decide what am I going to put up with and what am I not? And I'm not the person that puts up with a lot of bullshit. And I will leave it, but I will investigate it within my life. Otherwise it's just going to come back again, right? You gotta deal with it at some point. But at some point, so you've already been let go, like they've already left your life. The universe has already let them leave your life. You just haven't actually left yet.
Mm-hmm. I love everything what you shared, and I have another question for you. If you could send a message to neurodiverse creators worldwide, what would it be?
I love you. You be you.
Mm-hmm.
You be you. You be you. You be you. Fuck everybody else with all your love, and you be you. And find that path. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to be wrong, and that's okay. Failing, being wrong, making mistakes is just the search for missing information. If we had all the information, we would not make mistakes, be wrong, or fail. So if we can just allow people to make mistakes, I am learning to love mistakes. My subconscious or spirit guides are making me make mistakes on fucking purpose. It's like, why did
Mm-hmm.
you do that? No, it's not me. But it's interesting to watch because I will just follow intuition. I follow intuition every day. I just follow the pull. I have no plan. I have no schedule. I just follow the pull, and I follow it. And for the learning that it gives me, my Facebook page, everything I post on there is me. Facebook's my sandbox, my play box. I go there to investigate me. And if somebody else gets something from it, that is the most beautiful thing in the world. Of course, sometimes I just want to yell at people, right? I just want to post something that makes people mad, and I'll do it. But I have to then take that and look at myself about that. Okay, why? What are we looking
Mhm.
at here, Jocelyn? So, it is almost crazy when you do the whole mirror thing. It can really start to mess with your head. But the main thing about the mirror is that you're not seeing things that are bad about yourself or good about yourself, right? You're seeing all the beautiful things about life and about you and about people. Everything you see is the same aspect of you to be loved. I love my narcissist. I love my bitch. I love my asshole. I love my ego. Right? Can you imagine people say, let go of your ego? No fucking way. I would die and be an amoeba if I didn't have a fucking ego. So, no, I'm not going to let my ego go. I may say shit and I have to investigate later. Okay, well, whatever. I'm not afraid to look because it's not bad. Bad and good, good and evil.
Yes.
They're just dichotomies we've created in order to understand the world, and they are not real.
I love that. I love it. It's all in our perception. And I love when you stand up for what you believe in. And again, like you mentioned, it's all in our beliefs, and we always can upgrade our beliefs. Just because something was taught to us as this is the normal, it's not the only way we can actually perceive the world and live. We really have to have that self discovery and ask ourselves these deep questions. What exactly do I enjoy in my life? What exactly makes me feel alive, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we are just living by the guidelines created by somebody else, by the society, by our family, by somebody, right? But not us.
Yeah.
So now it's the time to really turn into ourselves and start asking these questions. Do I live the life that I truly wanted to experience, right? And
And
if
I
they
want to pop in here for half a second, just say, and that is not going to be the same for everybody. I've
absolutely,
had plenty
yes.
of money. I had, as a single parent, I owned a home and two cars, one for me and one for my daughter. I had all the things as a single parent. And that was when I felt the least me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That is when I felt the least me. And as I've let go and let go and let go and let go and just decided, what is it that Jocelyn loves? I don't like, I went through the whole thing. Okay, I got to change my beliefs about money because my beliefs about money are bad. And I'm not going to have abundance if I think these things about beliefs. So I've got to just like love money, love money. And that's not me. I took it on. I wore it for a while and I decided, is this me or not? And then I said, no, because I don't believe in the fucking monetary system. It's bullshit, right? There's no gold reserves that are holding up our money. It's the politics of created currency. So our monetary system is only viable as long as we believe it to be. If as soon as we stop believing the monetary system, if we all decided, hey, this monetary system is bullshit, it would break down because it's not real. So for me, I go for what's real. And so as soon as I did that and I started letting go of all the things I was paying for and I let go of my home and I moved in with my daughter, my bills are like, well, my phone I pay for every 3 months, and that's $75 every 3 months. So it's $25 a month. And then I had taken out a bunch of stuff and then I put some more stuff in. So I played my video game, which is $16 a month. Microsoft, because I have a large storage online, and that's like $7 a month. And then I have a couple of small bills. So like my bills each month are like $50. That's the level of my bills. And then I've started giving my daughter some money to help with the mortgage because her mortgage is going up because of what's been going on, because of taxes, right? Taxes are increasing, and that makes your mortgage payment go up, which is again the whole real estate thing, and buying a home and having a mortgage is a scam. It's a scam. Who are we paying the insurance? It's huge amount of insurance they're paying for, and then they get priced out of it, and then they lose it all. And it's a scam. So I don't believe in that system either. But it's like the freedom of not having to worry about money. When you don't have to worry about it, it's crazy. And then I got my first Social Security check and I started worrying about money. It's like the more money I have, the more I worry about money because I don't believe in it. So it's like as soon as I can let
Yeah.
go of all of that,
It's all about our belief. I do believe in money, and for me, money
absolutely.
is
And
yes.
I love that
And
people believe in money.
yes, and it's like I said, there is no, and I just love this conversation because there is no right or wrong. It's in our perception, and it's what really makes our heart sink, right?
I
So we
love
all
being a
connect.
rebel and a person that I'm chaos.
Hmm.
I've just I hated it my whole life that I'm the person and it's nothing I ever did on purpose. I walk into a room and I will say something and it just makes everybody go, I don't
Hmm.
do it on purpose, right? But that is me. I am not the nice, sweet person that can go and give everybody hugs and loves. I can in my family, and stuff like that. But I'm not like the way I write is more raw, right? It's
Hmm.
more in your face. It's
Hmm.
more really looking at those things that are going on in my mind. Watched a movie the other day and I loved this phrase. And there was one writer talking to another writer and they said, "Why do we write?" And it was, "We write to understand the things we don't know."
Hmm.
And
I
that
love it. Yes. And you know what? Just to wrap up our conversation, I really love this dialogue. But what comes to me is just, like everybody has the meaning to be in this world because we are all unique as our fingerprints, right? So the idea is somebody is this way or another way. We are all complementing the world as it is. So I truly appreciate you coming today and
Can I do
sharing
one
that.
thing real quick though? Can I talk about my book?
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely.
So
Yes.
this is my book, Incognito. It's a novel that I wrote. It is about Kate Warren, the first female detective for the Pinkerton Agency. It's in 1856. Kate Warren is in my book is neurodiverse, and it is every other story that I've ever seen about Kate Warren has her being the mistress of Pinkerton, and that's why she got to do the things. She traveled with him and was so good and taught the other, agents and stuff. And me, I call bullshit on that. That's just so wrong. That's saying yeah, she made it because she was sleeping with the boss. That just undermines every woman ever. And my Kate Warren that I feel is the true Kate Warren. I feel she talks to me. She is a lesbian and she often dresses male. And this kind of goes through her just getting into the agency and really going through her emotions of fear and anger and not understanding herself and what does this mean and is she a bad woman because she doesn't want to get married and have kids and who is she in all this, as well as bringing up the issues of formerly enslaved peoples, and how they had to interact. I did a ton of research in here on what was going on at the time politically, socially, fashion wise, all kinds of stuff. Huge amount of research went into the process of making this book. So it is a historical fiction about Kate Warren. It's my story of her based on her real life story that she created for herself.
That's beautiful. And who is this for? Who would be the person to love this book?
Um, I think that I think neurodiverse people will like it. It starts off right in your face. Judge me if you will. It matters not to me. I killed in cold blood with no warning more than once. I lied to obtain information and gain trust to deceive and win. People judge what they do not understand and make themselves feel better through the illusion of control over a chaotic world. Continue to clasp onto the beliefs you grip so tightly, fearful of the reality that the world cares not for what you think, of your world so small that the criticisms of others enhances your day. Someone long ago made up those beliefs to structure a world for their benefit, and you, in all your judgment, wake each day into their created reality, giving no thought to what really exists, simply a pawn in a world spiraling downward. I chose to ignore the structures forced on me, to step out of the mold and explore a reality beyond what others told me. I chose to create my world, one where I forced change, and in doing so, garnered hatred and lies to conceal the truth of a life lived grandly.
Ooh, I love it. Okay, do you have the link? Because I don't think so. You gave
It's
me the
on
link.
the link that I gave you goes to my library,
Oh, okay,
and
awesome. So
everything
it's
I've
part of
done
that.
is on my library. Yeah,
Yes, I love
and
it.
there's a
Okay,
bunch of free stuff there too.
yes, Jocelyn, you are such a blessing. You're such a gift to this world. And I truly appreciate and I love to know you. And I'm sure whoever is going to listen, they will also connect with something what you were sharing. And again, I wish you lots of luck, all
Thank
the best, and continue just to be you. Oh, Al is here. Hey, Al. Yes, he
you.
says neurodiverse people could be a handful, but they can impact the world. That's exactly,
Yeah,
the people who impact the world are not just like common hour people.
yeah.
This is for somebody who is like really thinking outside of the box and really makes the dent in this world, right? So continue being you, and Al, thanks so much for joining
Thank
and
you. This is
supporting
awesome.
us.
Thank you, Irina.
Yes. So I'll check out Jocelyn link. She has a lot of free stuff there, and as we all are continue exploring, continue connecting with something that really makes you alive, because this is what the life is all about. And love you lots, and
I love you
see you.
too.
Yes, and just continue shining your light because somebody definitely needs you.
Thank you.
All right. All
Mwah.
the best.